let's discuss the functional units of computer. A computer consists of five functional independent main parts: input device, a memory unit, an arithmetic and logic unit ALU, a control unit, and an output unit. The figure shows a simplified block diagram of a functional unit of a computer. IO devices, a combination of input and output device called as IO devices, processor, an arithmetic and logic unit, and a control unit along with this called as a processor. And for this IO device and the processor, both are associated with the memory. The input device accepts the coded information as source program, uh, that is an high level language. This is either stored in the memory or immediately used by the processor to perform the desired operation. The program stored in the memory determines the processing steps. Basically, the computer converts one source program to an object program, that is, into a machine language. Finally, the results are sent to the outside world through the output device. All of this are coordinated by the control unit. Let me discuss one by one of these functional units. Input unit. The input unit is nothing but the source program or a high level language program or coded information or simply a data which is fed into the computer through the input device, like keyboard is a most common type. Whenever a key is pressed, one corresponding word or number is translated into its equivalent binary code over a cable and fed either to memory or processor. Examples of an input device may be keyboard, joystick, trackballs, mouse, scanners, etc. Next, the microprocessor are nothing but a CPU. The CPU is nothing but, or CPU stands for Central Processing Unit. The Central Processing Unit carries out all the computer program instructions. Choosing the right CPU has a great impact on performance. Two very popular choice of CPU for use in a PC are a Pentium series from Intel and Athlon series from AMD. Each CPU has a set of pins through which all its communication takes place within the other devices. A CPU actually located on the motherboard, which consisting of two main units: arithmetic and logic unit and control unit. The arithmetic and logic unit. Most of the computer operations are executed in ALU of the processor, like addition, subtraction, division, multiplication. Apart from that, a logical operations such as greater than, lesser than, greater than or equal to, like this. The operand are brought into an ALU from memory and stored in high speed storage element called register. Then according to the instructions, the operation is performed in the required sequence. The control and ALU are many times faster than other devices connected to the computer system. This enables a single processor to control a number of external devices such as keyboards, displays, magnetic and optical discs, sensors, and other mechanical controllers. Control unit. It's effectively is the a nerve system or nerve center that sends signal to other units and sends their states. The actual timing signal that govern the transfer of data between input unit, processor, memory, and output unit are generated by the control unit. It's act as a supervisor of the computer. The control unit is a circuitry that controls the flow of information through the processor and coordinates the activities to or of the other units within it. In a way, it is a brain within the brain, as it controls what happens inside the processor, which in turn controls the rest of the PC. The control unit is one of the most important part of a microprocessor for that reason it is in the charge of entire process, that is the machine cycle. The CPU or the central processing unit deals with each instruction. It is given in a series of steps. Each steps is repeated from each instruction. This series of steps is called as a mission cycle, fetch, decode, execute cycle, which involves fetching an instruction from memory, decoding the instructions, transferring the data, executing the instruction. The control unit makes sure that all of these actions are carried out. It also manages all the other components of the CPU. The memory unit. In computing, memory refers to the physical device used to store programs or sequence of instructions like data. Example, program state information on a temporary or a permanent basis for use in a computer or other digital electronic devices. CPU has its own memory to store the data called cache memory, like L1, L2, L3, a shared memory too. Instructions are also stored in this memory as CPU registers. These are the fastest storage area in a computer. A typical computer contains numerous types of memory, including random access memory, read-only memory, and virtual memory. Basically, memories are broadly classified into two groups as primary memory and secondary memory. Actually, the primary memory is nothing but it's an one exclusive associated with the processor and operates at the electronic speeds, and programs must be stored in this memory while they are being executed. The main memory contains a large number of semiconductor storage cells. Each is capable of storing one bit of information. These are processed in a group of fixed site called word. To provide easy access to a word in memory, a distinct address is associated with each word location. Addresses are numbers that identify memory location. A number of bits in the resides number of bits in each word is called a word length of a computer. Program must reside in the memory during execution. Instructions and data can be written into the memory or read out under the control of the processor. A memory in which any location can be reached in a short time and fixed amount of time after specifying address is called random access memory, RAM. It required very less time to access one word is called memory access time. The time required to access one word in a memory is called memory access time. Memory which is only readable by the user and content of which cannot be altered is called random sorry read only memory. It contains operating system. Caches are a small fast RAM units which are coupled within the processor and are often contained on the same IC chip to achieve the high performance. Although primary storage is essential, it extends to the expansive. Second one, a secondary memory is used whether large amount of data and program have to be stored. Particularly information that is accessed infrequently can be stored in this memory. Example, magnetic disk, tapes, optical disk like CD-ROMs or floppy drives, etc., floppy disk, etc. Next, output unit. This actually are the counterparts of input unit. Its basic function is to send the processed results to the outside world. Example, printer, speaker, monitor, etc. Some other units of computers are communication devices called as sensors, actuators, etc. And secondary memory has hard disk, CD-ROM, pen drive, like that. So a simple diagram shows that how the computer is going to get processing with the external devices too or other units of computers. The input device, a processing unit, along with a memory, an output device. Apart from this, a communication device and the secondary storage. Altogether is going to be the units of computer. Let me summarize the operation of a computer. The computer accepts information in the form of programs and data through an input device and stores it in the memory. The information stored in the memory is fetched under program control into the arithmetic and logic unit where it is processed. A processed information leaves the computer through an output unit. All activities inside the machines are directly controlled by the control unit.